Okay. Hey guys, welcome back. I just listened to the recording I did, and it's not great. This computer is so loud. How do people do this? Like, how do they record on their computer and you don't hear the computer sound? Listen to this. Do I hold it? I guess I was thinking I could play like this and bring the mouse back here. Maybe I'll try that later. It's crazy. This is so hard. Why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this? Nobody's watching, and I'm stressing about every stupid little thing. I advertised the roller coaster, but nobody went on. I was also being kind of slouchy. I guess it's better to sit up straight. I don't know. You probably can't even hear me. The computer's so loud. Okay, I'll try to figure it out later. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm recording on two different computers because my computer can't handle sound and video at the same time. So I'm recording my sound on one computer and the video on another one. All this just to record a PC game, and it's not even gonna be great. I need to clean up some barf. So today I did want to talk about Star Wars, I think. I saw the new one with my brother and sister-in-law, and they had a friend who came. So it was four of us. And we went a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. And that was actually kind of fun. I was in California, so it was easy to wake up early just because I was still on East Coast time. And so I saw it, that was like December 20th, so it's kind of a long time ago. I think I still remember like why I didn't like it. So yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't think it was a good movie. And a lot of people did, which is good. It's good when people like stuff. But I guess I was surprised. For some reason, I hold Star Wars like to a higher standard. Like, I went to see Avengers Endgame, and I was like, that was a fine movie. It was fun. It looked nice. But it didn't really. I'll never watch it again, and I have no connection to the movie. It was just like a nice, fun movie, and that's how I feel about The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. I feel like they're both just nice, fun movies that you watch once or twice and then never really think about again. But I really did like The Force Awakens a lot when I first saw it, and after rewatching it a couple times, I think it's good, but I think it's the best of the three. But maybe just the other two, not liking the other two, made me kind of think, well, it's fine. So the obvious thing is, I watched the trailer before I went to see it. I knew Palpatine was involved somehow, so I guess spoilers, but this will come out like a week from now, so if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's fun. It's worth seeing. I knew Palpatine was in the movie, but I didn't expect them to make him the main villain. I really didn't. I didn't think that was a good idea. And so the first line of the movie is the dead speak, Palpatine's back. And I guess it's good to get that out of the way right away, because that's like kind of insane. And it's like, okay, just deal with this, because this is what the movie's going to be about. Like, we got a lot of stuff to get to, and if you're worrying about if Palpatine's in the movie or not, then you're going to get distracted. So just, Palpatine's back, and there's no reason for it. He's just back, so let's just deal with it. So that's what they do. But I understand why they did it like that, but that kind of put me off to the rest of the movie, because I'm like, oh, that's not a good idea. Like, making Palpatine the main villain and not explaining it in like an interesting way, and just being like, yeah, he's back and he's the main villain and he's the reason why everything in the past happened, so now let's move forward, let's deal with it. That kind of turned me off. Like, I guess for some reason JJ and the Disney people had it in their heads like, we need to wrap up this saga, this 9-movie saga, with this last movie. But a saga isn't a thing. Like, a trilogy is a thing in movies. You have 3 movies, beginning, middle, and end, like 3 acts. It's like a thing in movies, so it makes sense to have a trilogy, but a saga isn't a thing. Like, 9 movies. It would have been awesome if they could have done that, but they should have known, like, Star Wars is such a big thing, it's probably going to be impossible to... Let's clean up some barf. To wrap up this 9 movies in 1 movie and have everything come together and make sense and have it be satisfying and have it not be convoluted and dumb. Am I making any money? What is everybody saying? I'm reading your minds. People are happy. Oh, it's a good value, so you know what that means. Crank it up. I don't know why Disney got it in their heads that they had to wrap up all 9 movies. It should have just been from the beginning, like, we have this Disney trilogy and we can throw in Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, but the trilogy is a separate thing. So it's a little bit less ambitious than, like, we're also going to tie in everything that happened before. And I saw some interviews with JJ, and he was saying, like, yeah, it was really difficult to conclude the end of this saga, this 9-movie saga. And I was just thinking, like, that's... And people online were kind of defending him, like, yeah, it's kind of hard. It was a hard task for them to conclude this saga in a satisfying way, so they had to do a lot of stuff, and The Last Jedi didn't help. And I'm just thinking, a saga isn't a thing. That's something that they decided to do. Like, you can blame them for it being a bad movie because that they decided to do it. If a trilogy is a thing, so if the trilogy was bad, then you could say, so much barf. Okay, it was a bad movie and it was a trilogy, but the idea that they wanted to make this saga a thing, the Skywalker saga, like, that was their decision. So if they messed it up, then it's their fault. You can't not blame them for that. So I went off. Oh, it's packed. Should I raise the price? I have to make sure my sound is working. I don't know. I hope so. My expectations were kind of low. Oh no, it's broken. I think a lot of people. The main problem is that this trilogy, everybody's kind of said this, it doesn't work as a trilogy. It's like there's no main idea. It just goes, they throw in characters like willy-nilly, and it goes back and forth between JJ has the first movie, and then Ryan Johnson does the second one, and he kind of is saying like he's trying to be subversive and go a different direction, and then JJ's comes in the third movie, he's like, well, let's go back to what we were doing before. I think most people would agree it's not a very good trilogy. Like, it's not. Maybe some people would say each movie's kind of okay, but the trilogy together doesn't really work. I would still say that Force Awakens is a good movie, and the other two are kind of not great. I guess what I was thinking is, after seeing The Last Jedi, I didn't know why I didn't like it, but I guess what I started to, after seeing the second movie, I understood, like, okay, this isn't going to be satisfying. They don't really know what they're doing, and the movie was kind of fun, but the idea of creating a new Star Wars trilogy was cool, and the first movie was fun. They introduced these new characters, and like, who are these people, and how are they involved in the story. And once you see the second movie, you're like, it's not gonna be a trilogy. I guess it was exciting because most of the time you don't know. It's kind of a unique thing that they did. Disney, they said, we're gonna make 3 new movies, not based on like books, because I'm thinking like, well, Harry Potter is kind of like, we know we're gonna make a certain amount of movies, but I don't know if this has really happened ever in movies since the prequels. A studio says, we're going to give you 3 movies and it's going to be a trilogy. Usually what happens is you make one movie, it does well, and then you make 2 more, and then you stop because you're like, okay, I don't want to keep doing this. But it was exciting because they're like, we're going to make 3 new movies, Star Wars movies, and it's going to be a new story, and that's exciting. And then the first movie comes out, and it sets up a lot of cool stuff. And you think, okay, they know what they're doing. They know how to make a trilogy. They're building these characters, and it ends with like Rey kind of learning about the Force, but she still has a lot to learn. And you have Kylo Ren, who's an interesting character. And you're like, okay, this is cool. And then that second movie was so disappointing because you realize that they didn't know how to make a trilogy. And whenever I watched a new Star Wars movie, I would always go back to the old ones and rewatch them. And comparing the new trilogy against the old, even the prequels, it's a stark contrast, because you can tell the difference between a trilogy that was thought out beforehand and a trilogy that wasn't, and how it's more satisfying. I don't know, because the original Star Wars wasn't thought out before, but it works together, I guess, just because George Lucas is the main guy. And I guess Kathleen Kennedy was supposed to be the George Lucas of the new trilogy, but she kind of just let the directors do what they wanted, I think. So there wasn't it's very hard to watch, because it's like, let's do this one thing and then let's go back, and then even in the second movie they flip flop. They start with this idea that let the past die, and then in the end it just ends up being the same thing. Like, okay, we have rebels and the Empire, and so they start with an idea and then they go back on it because they're like, well, if we let the past die, then how are there going to be more Star Wars movies? We need space battles. Okay. Where'd my handyman go? He's mowing lawn. Why are you doing that? Okay. Still didn't do good today, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit more comfortable than I was yesterday. Hopefully I'm not too choppy. I know the audio... Well, the audio is going to be clean, but it's just going to be annoying to have this. So maybe I'll try to figure out how to back up a little bit. Back it up, back it up. Does that sound better? Probably not. I need a stand. And then one of those pop things. Okay, I went too long today. Star Wars. Okay. I didn't really build anything today, but I didn't really have to. I almost won. Okay. See you tomorrow.